Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Coach Chris coming at you. It's 8:20 a.m. on Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, and I'm inside my Top Step X accounts. This is a combine I've been working, and I just wanted to dissect a nightmare trade that I was very, very, extremely lucky to get bailed out on when the news release hit. So I locked myself out. I've got a balance right now. This is a 50K, $52,674. The goal on this is 3,000, so I've got about 330 left to pass the challenge. I did lock myself out just to calm my emotions down. I ended up with a P&L of $815, and that was all on one trade. I'm going to expand this out just to show you. I got up early because I knew there would be some movement in the market. There had been earlier overnight, and then when I looked at the chart, I noticed they had taken this thing all the way up to here at, what is that, 3 in the morning. And then we had a long period of consolidation. This black line here represents VWAP. And so you can see we were kind of in this range. And then starting at about 5 in the morning, they just were slowly bringing it down. Well, from the high here to this point here, that's already 100 points down in a relatively short period of time. And this is the area I started looking at the market. This is the pink is the 21 EMA, and the blue is the 9 EMA. And so I started looking, and I'm going, well, this thing may be, usually once you get 100 point or so move, especially pre-market, you're going to start to see them thinking of a reversal. And so I was watching this, and they had it was a big up bar, and I'm thinking, well, this could be the area where they're going to do it. And then you can see they had a liquidity sweep to the top, and then it just came all the way down. I mean, and then another big bar. And then this is a 2-minute chart of the MNQ, by the way. I don't know if you can see. So they brought it down, and I don't know if you can see right here, this middle candle after this big one is a doji. And a doji with a very long tail, a doji is usually a sign of reversal. It's an indecision candle, but it's usually, you'll find when there's a market pivot, you'll see that. So I saw that doji along with that big liquidity sweep to the downside, and we got two solid bars over the 9 EMA. So I figured, well, we're down now from the highest point at that time, from the recent pivot high to this point here. If I go all the way down, that's 160 points, which pre-market, really good. And so this is where I was taking my entry, somewhere in this, after this reversal it looked like the reversal was starting to happen. Now, in the back of my mind, because now it's around 6:30, 6:45-ish, somewhere in that area. Yeah, 6:30-ish. I know that at 7:30, we've got some major news coming out. And so I figured, well, it's no problem. This will reverse up. I was looking for VWAP up here because that's where we had been hanging out. So I figured, well, from here to VWAP would have been, a nice 50-point trade, which is what I was looking for. And I figured they're not going to take it any lower than this area here. So my risk to reward, let's just say, I think this is the candle I got in. We're looking at, I was going to set I don't remember what I actually set it at, but I was thinking, 25 to 30 point stop loss and 50-point gain. So a one risk to 2 reward, pretty nice trade. And I figured, well, at the rate this was going, I figured by 7 o'clock I'll be out of the trade. So the trade, they continued to go up. I was in profit. We got above the 21 EMA, but look what we get here again. This is a 2-minute chart, remember. We get another doji candle, not much of a liquidity sweep, but now we pivot down. And so I'm thinking, well, that's fine. They'll bring it down to this area here where this low was, and then they just need a little bit more energy. So this was my initial entry area. I'm going to move this out of our way. Was right in here. And so I'm doing good, in profit. Well, look what happens. We get that doji and things start to go down. And so I was picking up a contract. I was just trading micros here. I got a little false breakout to the top side thinking I'd be home free. Nope. Then we get this big candle, and now we start getting into this low area where we were previously, right here. See, we got all the way back down there, and that is from, just call it here to here. That's 40 points. So now I'm really upside down on this trade, and now I'm up to like, I don't remember, I want to say 4 contracts, something like this. Well, look what happens. We get a huge push down here on that candle and a huge push down there, ultimately going down from the high. Oh man, I got so lucky. 70 plus points. Okay, so now I'm down here, and I remember at this point, I was upside down somewhere between $500 and $600. And guess what time it is? With this candle, it's 7:26. Okay, so that means we're 4 minutes to news. But look what prints. A doji. Okay, I was going to close out, take the loss. Not much of a liquidity sweep, actually, to the downside. But what I instead did, I knew they're going to have, I had to build in some. So I went down somewhere in this region. I put my stop down, saying, well, if I'm already down 500, if I've got to take a $800 loss, so be it. And I needed $1,200 to pass this account. So I put a take profit, I forget where it actually was. And all of a sudden the news hit and this candle prints. And I was trailing it manually with the stop, and it got up to, I don't know, I want to say $800 or $900 profit, and I was trailing it, and it, this candle prints solid green, but what actually happens is it does pull back along, like it'll go up, pull back, go up, pull back, even though it's increasing. And I was just kind of in shock. And remember, this is a 2-minute candle, but when it's printing, it's moving. You can see here the live market, I don't know if you saw that jump. Things jump around, and so I was trailing that up, and I was a little in shock that I actually was getting bailed out. Now I'm going to comment on that in a minute, and then I think I got up ultimately to like an $800 profit somewhere in there, which, if you consider the $500 loss I was in plus the 800, that's like a 1,300 point move. Ridiculous. Which if I just would have got that full 1,300, I'd have passed this stupid account. But I guess I was disappointed I didn't make the full 1,200. And in hindsight, I'm thinking, you idiot! Do you know how lucky you are? What rules did I break? First of all, not taking the profit, first of all, here when I had it. Then, to make matters worse, knowing that news was coming up, I kept adding and adding and adding. This candle could have just as easily gone this way, and it wouldn't have had to go that much further and would have stopped me out down here. So, I mean, the worst thing in trading, or I shouldn't say the worst thing, but one of the worst things is doing everything wrong and getting rewarded for it, because it sets yourself up for very false expectations, and you're building bad habits for the future. So I just wanted to show you that trade. I'm not proud of it. I did get bailed out, but if I, in hindsight, I should have closed it here. I got lucky, but if you were trading properly, this trade should have been closed prior to the news announcement. Then, when the news was announced and we saw what direction the market was trading, got in and traded with the trend, whichever direction it ultimately turned out. Because say I got out here and instead of this green candle, this candle turned out to be red, instead of blowing the account, I could have gotten out and then gotten in on the downtrend and picked up that money. Now, market's just opening. Look what they did is they pulled it up to here, and you can see they retraced a VWAP, and now look at how this big red candle. So it's going to be a really, really interesting day here to see how this all makes out. I hope that makes sense to some of you, and just be careful this week. We got some big news coming out, and you're going to want to be on your toes for that. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.